Hello, I'm Peggy Anne Salz. Brian Baglow is back in the office. I am here at Mal and doing podcasts for us, of course, for PocketGamer.biz. We've done some episodes today and we're winding down the day with an interesting look at a company that I've been watching for a while, but we haven't had a chance to catch up. Estela Dos Santos Rocha, you are, I would say, head of UA at Gazeus Games, and have a number of responsibilities now because UA is very different. Are you just now UA, or is it also becoming more about player life cycle management, retention, the full stack, the full cycle?
We have games in different life cycles. So for mature games, of course, we are looking more at engagement and retention. So it's not just acquiring users anymore. But of course, we have soft launch games that we need to focus purely in UA. So that's it. So, and also creatives are very important in both stage, just in mature stage, that we need to engage users and also acquire users because we need to have the correct chat with the user because they are in different moments of the life cycle.
And you want to get more out of the games that you have. So you have some in soft launch and you have others where you just want to get more value from them. They've already proven themselves and you want to get more from them. How are you going about that? I mean, how are you focusing on managing user acquisition across such a broad portfolio?
Company made a decision to focus on 4 or 5 games, and we have a bunch of games. I think like 40 titles. Yeah, a bunch of games. So we don't have enough arms to keep and update all of them. So we choose our favorite kids to keep updating and invest in UA. In UA, we don't have our favorite kid, as I said, and the one who has the best return on ad spend is the one who gets the biggest budget. So that's it.
That's the contest.
Yeah, that's the contest.
How do you win that contest? It's harder than ever. Have you managed?
We have a budget. Actually, monthly we saw which game performed better in the last month. And we separate that budget for that game and the percentage for other. But in the middle of the month could happen that some game just go shine as a star. So I just move budget across that.
How's it set up? I mean, because some studios, it's like you're going to cover channels and they do it by channels. Other studios do it by games. It's like, this is your game. Here's your budget. You do everything.
So I have a team. So I split my team between games, not channels.
Okay.
Because they have the flexibility to change the budget across networks to channels in terms of return of ad spend. And I'm the one who said, okay, you were with that game, but that game is not too good. So your colleague should have a bigger budget because his campaigns don't going better than your campaigns.
That metric stays for you ROAS, or is it the payback period is also really important?
It's also really important because we are ad-based. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's tough here because we have a lower LTV comparing to an ad purchase at a game. So it makes it harder.
So it's ROAS, but then
it's
a little bit of a blended metric, really.
Yeah. In terms of ROAS, for ad-based game, we expect a break-even for after 6, 7, 1 year.
Timescales changed a little bit. It was a little bit quicker before. What do you do to keep patient?
I used to work on retail apps before joining games, and it was completely different. They used to have the metric right away. Okay, if it doesn't work right now, it won't work. So when I joined the game company, it was okay. It won't pay itself tomorrow or next week. You may be waiting for a month too. And I was oh my God, I can't believe that. How
long.
How you can profit with that? It's crazy, but it really happens.
Yeah, and I have to be more patient, but there are more ways to do it, because at least in this case, you're not worrying so much about purchases. So you don't have to look for whales, but you look for a different type of whale. You look for a whale who's going to spend attention in your game. So what are the characteristics of these, attention whales, the ones who are going to spend the most time, because they're going to see the most ads, they're going to monetize the best.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Who sticks most is our ad whale, actually. Because
any signs of what that is, though? Because now through AI and modeling and everything, you can get like a feel for that segment.
Not just a feel. We actually studied deeply with our...
Well, you've studied it.
Yeah, our data, so we can manage that early signals that the user can stick in the game for a longer time. So we understand if your user achieves certain events in the app,
in a certain period,
the user probably could stick longer in the app.
Okay. How's that changed? What those events are? The signs of the attention whale?
Yes, definitely. We have games that we completely figured out, and they are doing amazing. In the games, we are still trying to find that sweet spot, but we're
I probably can't ask you what it is, but can I ask you what it is not? Because again, our audience wants to learn from our guests, and we want to help them. At least we can't give them all the answers, but we can help them focus their resources and say, look, at least don't worry about this group, or this pre-indicator isn't really an indicator because you found out.
Yeah, I think there is no formula. There is no such thing that I can say to you, oh, go look at that metric. There is no such thing. But definitely you need to know your game. Yeah. So my game... casual. Yeah, my game is a casual game, card game, board game. We monetize through ads. Yeah. So the user needs to stick in the game for a longer time. So what means that? The user needs to play more matches, because I show ads between matches. So that's it. So for us, it's like a count of matches and after some days after installs.
And I do a lot of looking at the player psychology. You know, you have to, there's got to be a sense of progression. Yep. A sense of surprise, never boredom. So these are some rules. I know some, and I'm not even a marketer. So these are some of them, and you're saying yes, so they must be right. How do you show that? Because this has to also be a simple game, a mechanic, one that you can dip in and out of. You got a great mechanic, otherwise they wouldn't be there. Yep. But again, that constant nurturing and staying in the game requires something. What is it that you appeal to? The progression, the competitiveness?
So
what works?
I think for each game is different, but I think the competitive and the sense of progression as well, because for our cash cow, we have the rank. So the users like to see the ranking up, and also invite friends, because they like to compete with their friends, people they know. So that's it.
Do you use rewarded in that to keep them in as well? Rewarded ads? You know, that you like play more and then earn more in the game and stick around more.
We have rewarded videos. You can double if you win something inside the game. Right.
And speaking of ads, you've been in your ads. How cool is that? What is it? You were in it and then used it and then sort of let AI take it to the next level, or what is it? Or just Estela is in the ad?
No, I am in the ad.
Oh, cool.
We want some scene that we can find on Shutterstock or any image stock. Yeah. And my design say, I want that kind of video, that angle. Okay, let's do it. Just me and you could be our U18, but we are on the video. Even Etienne is on the video.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
And his cat? No,
his cat's not. Oh. No, it isn't.
You know, cats are
my dog's is.
Yeah, your dog is. Okay, the dog is my dog. Star. See, and that works. I've seen that so often in the earlier days of like, how do I make really cool influencer videos? It's like, no, make it yourself. Be scrappy, do it. So I'm going to see you. I'm going to see the whole team in the ad. I got to pull pull that in B-roll.
You're gonna see my UA manager. You are gonna see my
Oh,
designer on the ad, even my CMO. So that's
Awesome.
it. Everyone is there.
And Etienne is a force, I have to say. We're thinking of you, Etienne. We'll get him on here too at some point. Looking at the strategies you're using in marketing, I mean, you have a different type of team. What does that team look like? You said yourself you have like 5 favorite games that you're taking care of. I'm not sure how big your team is, but how's that happen? Because we hear so much about, well, you've got to have UA and product and engineering and data science all got to sit together. This has to be this amazing cross-disciplinary team. What's it look like for you?
Now we have a very small team. So
As I know, that's how do you stay then the multidisciplinary part of it?
So I have one guy that he actually very creative. He has a design background. So assign to him the games that need more creative. So he needs to pull more creatives inside to acquire users because the games are more in mature stage. And I have a more analytical guy that also helped me with ASO. For that guy, I assigned more new games, soft launch games. He's gonna help me to analyze by very close the metrics. So both boys complete me. And the creative guy also helped me to lead the design team because he has a design background and he also know UA. So he's able to talk with design team to say, okay, this kind of creative converts better, but designers has the difficulty to understand some UA metrics. And since he have been both sides, he's the person who can translate that to the design team perfectly.
Well, that's really important. And I mean, with a small team, because that's actually indirectly a bit of a benefit because everyone knows a little bit of all of the jobs.
Yeah.
So you have de facto, a very cross-disciplinary team simply because everyone has to be hands on deck.
Yeah, even me. Yeah. I need to manage them and also manage campaigns.
So let's stay on the whole idea of the successful titles.
Okay.
And you want to keep them going, but you also have to sort of reinvent them at some level. What about keeping the existing players, attracting the new players? Sometimes there's some tension there because you want to show them a new type of gameplay. I mean, it's a casual game, so it's not going to be changing it dramatically, but still, you have to take them with you, get new ones. You're in UA. That's what you have to deal with. How are you dealing with that?
Quick experience. Time ago, we tried to change the interface too much, and the players felt that, and we saw the retention drop. So we understood that if we want to change something in the game, we need to do carefully and slowly at the time, so the users can get used to not something brand new at once. So that's it. We are trying to create new game flows to introduce in-app purchase in the game because we are ad-based. So we are trying to create an app purchase. So since the game, it's not a brand new game, I can't just put an app purchase in the game because I'm gonna block the user flow. So I need to create a new flow in order to put a new economy on the game. So we are going that way.
How's that progressing? Is that something that we're going to see soon? Because it's a process.
It's working right now. I think
you've done it already.
Yeah, it's on the way. I think it's in the A/B test. I don't know if you download the game, it's going to have this new flow.
What do you have to pay attention to in the A/B testing? I'm talking to a lot of people about how that's really changed. It was always constant, but now it's doing it in a way that will still conserve time and money. And you're sort of like using A/B tests to validate real concepts, not just like miniature points about the game, but the actual, is the game commercial? Is it a commercial success? Expand it, grow it. It all comes in the testing phase. So it's very different dynamic. You don't look at miniature pieces any longer. Look at big chunks of strategy. How's that going with you with A/B testing? Is it evolving like that, and therefore being a little bit?
In terms of UA, we're trying to support the product team when they want to create a new feature on the game. So we sit together and think what kind of users or type of users we should acquire, or what kind of users that we already have we are going to talk to. So we go out from that conversation, sit with our designer teams and start to create a concept of creatives or videos, and go back and say, okay, we have this, what do you think? Because they own the product and we just support with the UA in this case to validate the feature they're aimed to launch. So once all agree, because they can choose the concept, they can give their options, but in the end we also run a UA and we know what going to success and doesn't go. So we're trying to make a consensus there, and we run the campaigns and go back, okay, the BAU creative, it was better, and the new creative with the new feature, it was worse, and we go back and try to understand what happened there. So, and if we need to go back with another task until we understand what happened, if the feature it's a good thing or not for the game.
So you brought it up, and I'll end on that note, because everyone is more than a title. And yes, I was doing a panel about women in tech. You're a woman in UA. It's just about the same thing. It's always important to think about the small steps, the small lessons. And we heard that on the panel that I did. You know, there are small things that lead to great steps for women in tech, for women in UA. What was a small step that you took that had an impact on your career that maybe you can share? Because everyone is learning, and women in UA, they need to advance. They need to reinvent themselves. Everyone does in UA, but women in particular, they're going to have to draw on something deeper than just ability. You always have to compete on more as that than the woman.
Yeah, I think the small step I took was, I have a mentor, my former boss, and she was trying to move to
Paula.
Yeah, she was trying to move to product team and left in UA. And okay, I was trying to cover her and assuming a bunch of responsibility by myself. And I wasn't thinking that I was doing enough and doing a great job, until someone told me, you did an amazing job. I think when I started to believe myself that I actually was doing a great job, that I have the skills that I need to, I think these things start to happen, that I feel more confident to do my work and just start to do better campaigns and better results. I think that.
So it's really looking for and finding a mentor, and for you, maybe with other women, it's just that little bit of feedback, some positive feedback and understanding that yes, you're doing a good job. You're making a solid and valuable contribution.
That's it. As your colleague said, just put a post-it on your computer and say, you're amazing, you're doing great. You're doing a very good impact in your company.
And it's about that. It's about positive thinking. Now, you are in a position where you have some friction, some frustration. You're a woman. It's not a barrier, but it is something to always be positive and keep the energy high. Told me about what you're doing, you know, just believing in yourself. How do you maintain that?
I think I'm an enthusiastic person. The people keep saying that I motivate myself because of that. I think that's it. And I truly try to understand my team, and I truly try to assign them tasks they are able to do, not things their skills are not compatible. So I'm not going to do analytical job for a guy that not too analytical. I'm not do a task too creative to a guy that's too analytical. So that's it.
So understanding your team,
giving
them what they can handle, and also giving them the stretch goals that are important. And there's a lot of stretch goals because you have other games coming out, other things going on, and quite a list of titles to manage. You're doing it really well, Estela. I will tell you, because you tell yourself that probably as well. But I will say a big +1. Thank you for sharing. And above all, because it's so important to understand what to do in the small and mid-sized studios. You have to fight smarter. You're a fighter and you're doing it really well. Congratulations on what you do. And thank you for coming here to share.
Thank you.
Thank you. I spent most of the day today with the rest of your team, and they're all new, and they're all very energetic about the new Aarki. So we do know about the rebrand, but you, Aman, what did you bring to this?
Sure. So, I'm an entrepreneur. I've done a startup before, and it's very difficult to do a startup. I started that company, my old company, Zip Media, literally in a spare bedroom which my wife gave to me with my college roommate. Okay. And we took it all the way from starting that company to selling that company. So a successful exit. I felt that was a very difficult experience, but this was eating glass every day. All right. But Peggy, this is the second time eating glass, so I had a better team and I could digest it better. So I think, look, what I bring to the table is very simple. I can make very fast decisions for the team so that they can move forward. I protect them from all the political nonsense that may happen, and I give them all the tools to be successful.
So they can focus on what's at hand.
Absolutely.
Which is bringing a new Aarki to us, right?
Indeed.
So I understand what you're offering. Help me understand a little bit more, because this is Mal, this is where you're going to be meeting a lot of games companies and also non-gaming. So you're moving beyond just gaming to non-gaming. What are you telling them when you express to them, this is the new Aarki, this is why you need to stand up, take notice?
Sure. So look, we have 3 core pillars that we have at Aarki, and they are very client-centric. So first is our AI platform, which is kind of the core of the platform engine itself, right? And then we have very privacy-centric way of getting users, because if you think about what happened with Apple and what's going on with Google, you need to be very privacy-focused. And the third thing, which is very unique to us, is we have a pillar which is called Unified Creative Strategy. So when you are working with mobile marketers, creative is extremely important, and we have decades of experience in providing the best-in-class creative, and we provide that creative service completely free, free of charge to our clients. So when you combine all these things together with our brand new AI platform, with a privacy-centric approach of getting to users, and with a very interesting creative strategy, I think it improves ROI for our clients. So I'll give you some examples. Since we launched our new platform in test about a few months ago, like in December we started testing, we have seen 40% increase in revenue from existing clients. 40% increase in revenue from existing clients. So that, in my mind, revenue is everything, right? So if I can get 40% more revenue from our existing clients, whatever we are building is working. So I think that's what we are telling our clients. This is tried and tested, and now we are bringing it to the market.
And there's also a lot of research talking about diversifying channels and saying that there was a time where it was like fewer partners was better. You can manage it. It's doable. You don't want to stress yourself. Now it's the other direction. You want to experiment more because you want to push out and see, what can I do with what I have and do it better. So where are you coming in that experimental phase? Are marketers thinking about this, looking at just the revenue, or are they looking at it more strategically and saying, no, it's part of the whole package?
So look, the revenue story I told you was my validation.
Is important.
My validation for the product, right?
Yeah.
If we did not increase revenue, I don't think it would have been working. So that's just my simple validation for the product. So now, if you think about gaming clients, so let's just take example of gaming publishers.
Right.
So they're running a portfolio strategy. They have certain goals they have to achieve, and they have to, it's just like a stock portfolio, right? I'm going to use maybe 5 different channels, and I'm going to use 3 different providers in each channel. And I need to get a unified ROI or LTV from those combined channels, right? So everybody is good at doing something or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like the clients are now understanding that we are very LTV focused. We help them experiment with creative. We actually bring new creative ideas to the table, which our clients take and then bring into new channels, right? So I feel like, and that paired up with our Byte Club service, which is very consultative, I think that's a winning combination that we bring to the table with them. And they're very happy to test with us.
So how does that evolve? I'm curious about the actual metrics that they're aiming for, because you open up some new opportunities, which is very cool. But then again, it might be the case then that gaming marketers need to look at their strategy differently and aim for something different than maybe the North Star metric of maybe what it was. ROAS, okay, but LTV, other metrics, what do you see?
So I think other metrics are, how many users you are keeping in your ecosystem.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very important metric these days, right? So we have a really strong re-engagement product. It's actually rated #1 by AppsFlyer independently. Okay. In the world, right?
Okay.
So we have a very strong re-engagement.
You have a lot to celebrate at the show, right?
Indeed. So what we are bringing to our clients is new ways of thinking about how to engage with their audience, how to have longevity with their audience, right? So getting a user is very difficult, and keeping that user is even more difficult, right? So we work with them to figure out what are the strategies to re-engage them, when should you re-engage them, could you actually re-engage dormant users? So we have a client, I cannot tell their name, it's a publicly traded company, but we work with them for a strategy called re-engaging deep dormant users, which have been gone from the platform for more than 60 days.
Wow.
So we have figured out how to bring them back profitably for our clients, and so that we can have a very thriving ecosystem for our clients.
Well, that's what gaming marketers want to hear as well, because you don't know whether you want to leave them dormant or try again. So this is another option. Well, it's been very interesting talking with you, Aman, and I look forward to continuing the conversation because you're continuing your evolution, so I've got to keep up on it, right?
Thank you, Peggy.
Did I say?
Appreciate it.
You're on.
Thanks for having me.
This show is all about how to do your job better, how to make an amazing game, how to market it, and you have a say. So if you have a story or know someone we need to shine a light on, then we would love to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. We want to reflect the reality of the mobile games market in all its wonderful complexity and strangeness. So if you have any suggestions for us, if you have any feedback for us, you can always get in touch. You can email us at podcast@pocketgamer.biz. You can find us on Twitter @PGBiz, and you can reach out to us through the pocketgamer.biz website. If you're interested in listening to all of our podcasts, you can find them at pocketgamer.biz/podcast, and we would love to hear your thoughts on future shows.
And we've got you covered on all the major platforms, so subscribe to the audio podcast, as Brian said. Look for us on YouTube. If you want to read it, hey, you can do that too, because we have a companion post for you as well on the pocketgamer.biz website.
Tune in again for the next edition of the pocketgamer.biz podcast, and we look forward to speaking to you in the near future. Until then, I'm Brian Baglow.
I'm Peggy Anne Salz, and that's a wrap until next week.